We read Girard. I want you to put it into the context of voluntary manslaughter. Girard represents what we're going to call the traditional view, the common law view of voluntary manslaughter. It relies on a limited set of circumstances that would move a person to kill. That's concentrating on element number 3. I want to highlight one aspect from the court. When the court says that heat of passion could never be supported by words, it means insulting or taunting words. It doesn't really mean informational words. Insulting a person, you're a lousy husband, a lousy lover. They're just words. They shouldn't be considered. Informational words are different. So even in a traditional jurisdiction, I raped your daughter. Yeah, they're words, but they are informational words that represent an injury to a loved one and therefore would fit in the traditional category of adequate provocation. It reminds me of that childhood nursery rhyme, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never harm me. Insulting words don't stand a chance in the traditional view for voluntary manslaughter. So let me ask you, do you agree with the court's position that insulting or taunting words should never be sufficient to mitigate to manslaughter? Should never be enough to meet element number 3, adequate provocation? Do you think that horrible, ugly, insulting words could move someone to kill? Could move someone to kill and allow an average person to have lost his reason? The story of the kidnapping and murder of 12-year-old PollyKlaas, daughter of Mark Klaas, at the hands of Richard Allen Davis, is as unforgettable as it is heartbreaking. Polly was kidnapped at night by Davis from her home in Petaluma during a sleepover while her mother and sisters were sleeping in another room. Terrifying, awful. Her body was found 2 months later in a shallow grave about 30 miles from home up an embankment. She had been strangled. Richard Allen Davis was a habitual offender with a lengthy prison rap sheet dated back to the 60s, included convictions or plea agreements for burglaries, robbery, kidnapping, sexual assault, in and out of prison through that time frame. He was convicted of murder 1, felony murder via kidnapping, that's the felony murder rule, and burglary, and attempted lewd acts on a child. I want to take you into the courtroom at the time of his sentencing for her murder.
I would also like to state for the record that the main reason I know that I did not attempt any lewd act that night was because of a statement the young girl made to me when walking her up the embankment. Just don't do me like my dad. I have to pay my dues, so should you.
Burn in hell, Davis.
All right, that concludes the statement.
Jacobs, do you have any comments you want to make?
So you saw this very powerful video. There's Richard Allen Davis telling the court, the only reason I know I did not do any lewd act that night was because of a statement the young girl made to me while walking up the embankment. Just don't do me like my dad. Can you imagine? You see on the video that her father, Mark Klaas, had to be restrained. He was shouting, "Burn in hell." Nobody blames him for that. What if Mark Klaas had jumped the railing and in front of everybody had killed Richard Allen Davis at that point? Could those horrific words have legitimately prompted a reasonable man to lose self-control? Did the Girard court really get it right when it said that reasonable people can never lose self-control from insulting or taunting words? We want to think about the Mark Klaas situation when we think about that.